Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I want to go ahead and film with my oldest palette in my collection and my newest palette in my collection. I haven't seen this done before. I did do a quick YouTube search to see if anyone else has done this video and I didn't find anything, but if someone else out there has, great minds think alike. I got this idea a while back and I thought it would be a fun way to get some use out of a palette that I haven't touched in a really long time, or barely at all, because it's kind of a collector's item to me. And then also I thought it'd be a fun way to get some use and play with my newest palette in my collection. This one particularly I've only used once or twice, and it's the Take Me Back to Brazil palette by BH Cosmetics. I thought this would be particularly fun for this challenge because it's very bright. If you guys haven't seen this before, it is mostly bright mattes, and they are just beautiful. And then as for the oldest palette in my collection, this is definitely the oldest palette in my collection, but not the oldest makeup. I have some eyeshadow from when I was like 15 from MAC, and I really can't let go of it, and that's some old as fuck makeup. But this is the Tarte for True Blood palette. It's the collector's palette. I think that's what it's called. I got this from my friend Kim for, I think for Christmas, and I want to say it was maybe 7 years ago, 6 years ago, I'm not quite sure. This also came with, I always like to show this side of it. I remember when I had it on display, it says open after dark, and it has, besides the colors that you get in here, I remember it having, oh, they're still in there. It has like a little, what is this? Lifted eye primer. And then also has the Lights Camera Lashes all in the True Blood packaging. And I want to say this is one of their liquid eyeliners that was in here, or maybe one of their pencil liners. I still have like all the packaging stuff from it. And I have used this a handful of times, but I didn't use it a ton. But it is mostly like muted shimmers. There's a couple mattes, but a lot of like muted shimmery colors. So I thought these particular palettes would go well together because the BH has no shimmer. And I'm definitely thinking a cut crease. I'm not quite sure exactly what kind of color I want to use yet, but I will find out here momentarily. I did go ahead and I primed my eyes today, and I did my brows as well, and I'm just gonna put my hair back. I always have this one little piece that sticks out. As far as color goes, I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. The BH Cosmetics palette is just like overwhelming with all the color in it. There's so many options there. As far as Tarte goes though, there's not really that many colorful options, so I think I'm either gonna go in this really pretty green shade, and then there's also this orange shade, which I tend to always go for oranges, so I think I'm going to do more of the greens. And the BH Cosmetics has plenty of beautiful blues and yellows in it. That's the whole look I think I'm going to go for. So I think I'm going to start with like just like the brighter yellows in here. That has some pigment, and I did not dab off my brush like I should have, so I got some fallout, but I didn't do the rest of my makeup yet, so it's okay. Alright, so these shadows, like I already made quite a dent in this color just from dipping into it. So just be careful. Just know that they're like kind of softly pressed. Not too concerned with whatever's falling out or the particular shape of this because I am going to go ahead and clean up the edges when I'm done. And then to add just a little bit of depth into this one, I'm going to use this more like yellowy golden color. I see some beautiful looks with the BH Cosmetics palette being created. It's just so bright and vivid, and I think it really lets people's imaginations just run wild and do whatever they want to do. I just see some like beautiful rainbow effects. But I'm really drawn to this mint shade in here, and I'm gonna use that next in the outer part of my crease. And that blended together just fine. I'm gonna take a little bit darker of a color and add that on the outer as well. They're blending over that shimmer and it just gives it like a little bit of a pop, which I'm enjoying. And BH again. Please ignore my nails today. They are so bad. I'm about to get them done right after this. And I am going to be doing a cut crease, so I'm taking this up just a little bit higher. This one definitely has more color payoff than that mint, so I'm going to stick with this one. I sincerely miss True Blood, at least like the first season or so of it. It did kind of go downhill after a while, but got a little cringy, but I still miss it either way. I think it was a really well done show. It was so different. I know it all originates from Charlene Harris, who wrote the books, but I think it was such an original concept for a show, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked the actors on it, like Alexander Skarsgård. Whew, I loved him. He was such a good character because he was like bad guy, but he had like a heart underneath. You kind of got to see that throughout the seasons. I was always really rooting for him and Suki. Didn't happen. Well, it did happen, but I think in the end it didn't happen. I can't even remember. All I remember was like werepanthers and fairies, and I can't even remember the end of the, the whole series, but I still really miss it. I love Anna Paquin. I follow her on Instagram, and seeing pictures of her and Stephen Moyer, like they are so sweet together, and I just really like her. She's always like posting her like sweaty selfies and like wrinkles and no makeup, and she just seems very real. I love when celebrities do that, when they just show that it's not like all glitz and glam, and that a lot of it is just like everyday life. They're still parents, they're still in a marriage, in a partnership, and I really enjoy her. And I'm just blending this out a little bit. Next, I'm going to try that mint shade again, this one right here, and I'm just going to put that on the inner corner of my eye. And I'm going to use my finger just to get the most out of this pigment. I don't know what I'm going to do come winter time. You guys are going to see it. My eyelids, and actually right above my eyelids, like my crease area, gets so dry. I have a little bit of eczema, and I don't know if that's what it is or if it's just truly dry skin. I don't know what I'm going to do about it because I have the hardest time wearing eyeshadow in the winter. It's not like you can really like exfoliate your eyelids. I did see though, I think Eminence has a like eyelid exfoliant. It looks like it's a chemical exfoliant of some sort. If you guys have tried that, let me know below because I think I'm actually going to pick that up. That mint shade is so pretty. I just love greens. I feel like they're so easy to work with a lot of the time, and you can mix different shades, and I think they always blend really well together. I'm going to add just a little bit of like a dark brown, I think, on the outer part. I do want to keep this colorful, but at the same time, I want to be able to use equal parts of both shadows, and I've pretty much been going back and forth this whole time. So I'm going to take this dark brown. I'm going to stamp that onto the outer part of my lid first, and then I'll blend it up a little bit into my crease. These are old shadows, so I'm having to get a little bit of extra on here. I did go ahead and just clean up the edges there, as well as clean off any fallout. Oh, I forgot my concealer. So I got my Tarte Shape Tape, and I like this little brush from Spectrum, and that's what I've been using to cut my crease. It's nice and dense. I have this brush over here from Sigma. That's a cut crease brush, and I actually find it to be like way too fluffy to actually get like a precise cut crease when you go to draw it on. I just think the hairs on there are way too thick. I do like this though for like lid application, but I like this other little brush much better. My little trick for doing a cut crease is to apply a strip on your lid and then look up, and then it will kind of transfer onto the area your cut crease should go. And then I clean off my brush so I don't get too much, and I just start to kind of outline that area like a little half moon shape. Sorry, I'm covering that. I'm gonna go in with this bright green shade, and I might use a little bit of this lighter shade as well. This is probably what I'll use for my inner corner, and then I'm probably gonna do my lower half with something bright over here from the BH Cosmetics. And I'll go back and I'll add probably a little bit more color from the BH too. Taking some more of that mint. I am going to go back, I think, with some Fix Plus and try to get some more green out of this green. Okay guys, so off camera I did have to fix that just a little bit. I felt like every time I put down more of the deep green shade, it would take more of the mint, and I kind of had to go back and forth, and I thought that would be kind of boring for you guys to see. So instead, I just did it real quick off camera, or it took a few minutes actually. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face off camera, and I'm back. I kept the rest of my makeup pretty simple today, except for this lipstick I did want a bright pop of color, because under my eyes, I did go ahead and I used this like fuchsia shade up here, and then I blended that out with the yellow that I had used originally. I did forgo using that shimmery shade from the Tarte collection. Instead, I put a little bit of Kat Von D's, what is that called? The Alchemy palette. I used a little bit of the green shade from that. I used it as my highlight, and I also used it on my inner corner as well. I'm quite happy with this look. I like the way it turned out. I think the greens paired nicely together. The only one I had a little bit of trouble with was that green, that dark green from the Tarte palette. Again, it's an old palette, and I kind of expected that. That's why I did do the shimmer from the Kat Von D, because I wanted like a little bit of pizzazz. But I did enjoy this challenge, and maybe I'll do it again. Obviously, it won't be the oldest in my collection, but just something that I don't use very often mixed with something that I use all the time. Might go ahead and do that challenge. Let me know if you guys want to see it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like this video. Give me a comment below. I want to hear from you as always. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.